Well, hello again, folks. This is the Debate Brothers. I'm Debate Brother number 1.
I'm Debate Brother number 2.
And today we will be doing a debate
About two of the Vietnam War movies that we love the most.
Well, one I love. The other one I completely hate.
You never even seen it.
Well, you see, I made a promise, and I won't watch it, and I won't break my promise.
Yeah, you were a fool. Anyway,
I'm not a fool.
Enough about that. Let's just get into this debate, number 1.
All right, number 2.
That's not important about the stuff you were trying to talk about, the promise. It's not important. Anyway, the movie is Oliver Stone's Platoon from 1986 versus...
The movie We Were Soldiers.
You don't know the director.
No, I don't really care about the director on this one.
Well, you have to. I mean, you have to have a great director.
I prefer more to go with the actors, actually. Because, I mean, a director can do pretty good in the job. But to me, it's more of the actors sometimes. I mean, directors are a big part, but to me, it's always the actor.
I like both directors and actors.
Well, that's your opinion, number 2.
Yeah, anyway, first thing we're going to do is talk about a quick lesson of the Vietnam War. It began in 1964 and ended in 1974. Basically, a 10-year war.
Yeah, but America didn't get involved until...
We were already having troops over there in the 1964.
But we didn't get officially involved until...
1965.
Okay, so...
Yeah, and 3 years later came the Tet Offensive. But the first major conflict we fought was in Ia Giang, the Valley of Death. Around 1967, I think. I can't remember the history of the battle.
Anyway, that is where Commander...
Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore.
Yeah, Hal Moore, leader of the 7th Air Cavalry, went up against 4,000 or 5,000.
About 8,000 to be total, or 10,000 at the most.
The guy said in the movie 4,000 or 5,000 men. I can't remember the exact line.
That was a movie, though, but in real history, what I've read on Wikipedia on that thing, it was like 10,000 total up on that mountain that was coming down upon them.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it was a very powerful battle.
3 days of fighting.
Yet Hal Moore and his men survived, unlike General Custer of the 7th Cavalry back in 1876.
Yeah. Anyway, the groups got separated into 3 groups on that battlefield. And all 3 still survived, but with heavy casualties.
Alright, enough about the history. Now we need to get to the real part.
Okay. Anyway, I still say Oliver Stone's Platoon of 1986 outdoes We Were Soldiers because it was the first Vietnam War movie to portray what the war was really like. Because the director, Oliver Stone, was also a Vietnam War vet. And he saw the conflict, he saw what the soldiers were like at base camp, on the battlefield, everything. The movie is based upon his memories of what he witnessed.
Yeah.
And so was the characters, although he renamed the characters because he didn't want to use the actual real names. He wanted to protect the identity of some of those characters. And the main protagonist, Private Chris Taylor of the film, played by Charlie Sheen, was based upon Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone was a college dropout and joined the infantry.
You keep going with the history, bro.
Well, still, that's the truth about it. Anyway... The cast of Platoon, we're going to talk first about the cast. Stars, as I said before, Charlie Sheen as Chris Taylor, Tom Berenger as the villainous Sergeant Barnes, Willem Dafoe as the compassionate Sergeant Elias, Keith David as King, Francis Quinn as one of the soldiers, a young Johnny Depp, Corey Glover, Kevin Dillon, and... most importantly, Captain Dale Dye, another Vietnam vet also.
Yes, Dale Dye, very good actor and war vet.
Yeah, he helped train the actors for the movie.
Yep. Now anyway, my cast of We Were Soldiers stars Mel Gibson and
Sam Elliott,
and Barry Pepper.
Is that all the names the actors you can remember?
Those are the 3 main characters, Justin. The exact 3 main characters.
Yeah, because Barry Pepper plays that famous war photographer who was there. We saw him in the Medal of Honor series on Netflix.
He wasn't on Medal of Honor.
He wasn't?
No. That was Vietnam in color and
other
things.
Okay. Anyway, it's also great. I do not deny it. Mel Gibson is a great actor, and Sam Elliott working with him because he's a golden age actor.
Yes.
Been acting since the 70s. But still, many of these actors from Platoon was acting since the 70s also, and some of the 60s. And it gives a real good tone.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Mel Gibson is a professional at what he does because he was the director of Braveheart and played the main character, William Wallace.
Yeah.
And so he has his severe acting career, which puts him at the line. And then Barry Pepper, great guy also. He just knows how to really move his character forward. And Sam Elliott, that deep voice of his, really knows how to get the audience captivated into watching the film.
He really did real good when his voice performances has been the cow, showing his authority.
Okay, that's not important right now.
I know, but the actors I know of, Willem Dafoe, who usually played villains, does a great job of being a hero in the film. He knows what's right and wrong, and he delivers lines with perfection and authority. And then Tom Berenger, the way he looks at you and from certain camera angles, the way his eyes, his scarred face, which took 5 hours to put on with the makeup.
That's all it took? 5 hours?
Sometimes it took 12 hours for some people's makeups. Anyway, Berenger played a real good villain. He was a soldier you did not want to screw with. Because Charlie Sheen really got injured in the making while trying to pick a fight with Berenger. In a scene, Berenger unintentionally hurt him.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, now we're going to talk about, say, the action now. Like the battle sequences and the performances of the
And
combat.
you think your movie has better action sequences than mine, We Were Soldiers?
Yeah, because, well, for one, they used real smoke bombs and minor grenades that would not really kill you, but it could knock you around. And also, they had a firefight in the rain. And there's a scene where one of the soldiers got a piece of fragments in his sides, and Berenger took a fake knife to pry it out, and they had lit up the thing so it would glow and burn at the same time. And also, the great camera angles were for quick paces and quick editing. Made it feel like you're just being mind-boggled by the explosions. Make you almost feel like you're on the battlefield. You're
getting shell shock and stuff?
Yeah, everything.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Platoon does have strong battles from what I've heard.
And also, the final battle in the film was based on a battle that's almost been forgotten called the President's Day Battle. A fire base which Oliver Stone was at was attacked by NVA forces, that's North Vietnamese Army. And he fought there, and he remembered guys running across their lines who were suicide bombers running into tents and all that sort of stuff, all those scenes. And he even made a cameo in the final battle scene where he gets killed by a NVA suicide bomber. I think that's ironic. You're a real Vietnam vet who survived the war, but you can't survive a movie of the Vietnam War.
Oh, well, whatever. My action sequences are going to beat yours by any chance. There are well-paced action, well choreographed and filmed. You have some slow-mo shots of when guys are shot through the neck and other things and head.
We have a few slow-mo shots in Platoon, too.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, also the fact is, also the scene when the NVA soldiers are coming through the jungle to ambush Point B. The Americans are on the ground just in the darkness, and you can tell by both sides that they're on edge, completely tensed up.
I'd be tensed up even if I wasn't.
Yes, and as the fighting starts, the music suddenly dies out all the volume, and all you can hear is just that melancholy music as the soldiers on both sides are just killing one another, just trying to survive. And only one group will survive. Mm-hmm. And that proved to be America that day.
Yeah, but also, Oliver Stone really did have extras, really filmed in the Philippines. Now we're on location shots. They filmed in the Philippines, not far from where our parents, lived and visited for a short time. Anyway, the sets they built were amazing.
They never lived in the Philippines.
Well, they sort of stayed there for a few weeks.
It was a business trip, so don't say they lived there.
Well, if you're on business for a few weeks, that's kind of like living there.
All right, but that doesn't matter, okay? Yeah. So don't bring up anything about the past, okay?
Shut up. as I was saying, the sets that Oliver Stone had his people build were real lifelike. They had those flags and everything. You have extras in the background, all those things. They make it look like it's a real Vietnam air base.
So what? They do the same for We Were Soldiers.
Yours was not as big. It was a smaller airfield that they were filming on.
So what? It had a lot of good technique to the filming of the movie, which allowed it to feel like you were really on the grounds with the Vietnam War.
So did Stone.
Yeah, well,
and also Stone did this like there was really evidence of that in real life. There was signs sometimes at the air bases that we...
Yeah, I know. They say the distance between Disneyland to California and other things.
Yeah, are you mad?
No, you keep trying to cut me off in the middle of a talk. I'm trying to have a debate here with you.
Yeah, I am too.
Well, you keep interrupting me. Now, as I was saying, it makes you feel like you're in there, and also it shows what is going on at military HQ during the battle. So when they declare broken arrow... that's one thing you do not want to have on the battlefield. Broken arrow. You're risking to kill your own men to get rid of the enemy as well.
Dale Dye had to do that too when the NVA was storming the base at the final battle in Platoon. He didn't really want to call in that airstrike, but he had to do it to save the rest of his men who were not cut off.
Okay, so what is the next subject of our so-called debate?
Well, we did the sets.
We did the action and the actors.
And the directors.
I didn't do the director because I don't care.
Well, I did the director.
You didn't do a debate. You just talked about his history and other things.
So it counts.
No, it does not. It's not a debate if we don't both do it.
Okay, well, basically, all I can say this is about some complicated parts they had during the making of the film. That's what we can talk about. There was a lot of complications in every film. Injuries or other things. One of the complications they had during the making of the movie of Platoon, there are three major ones. One, Willem Dafoe drank some water from the Filipino water that you're not supposed to. He was thirsty, he caught sickness, and shooting had to be delayed. They still finished the film in 54 days of shooting. Anyway, another problem they had, Willem Dafoe, Charlie Sheen, Keith David, Johnny Depp, and all the others
got hooked on drugs, as I recall.
In that one scene, yeah, they really got the actors really doped up, not intentionally, but everyone got doped up, and Stone shot that whole scene. Everything was improvised in that scene, which every actor after that scene felt really terrible. Had to lay off shooting for a short time. And third, the heat in the Philippines was unbearable. All that sweat you see on every actor is not a spray bottle the set members are spraying on each other. It's really real sweat. They were really suffering in that heat in the Philippines like our real American boys were in Vietnam.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know of any problems that We Were Soldiers had. But all I can tell you is that they would probably have to do multiple shoots, which would cause a little delay in the production value. Because, I mean, for every reshoot you have to do for scenes, it's going to cost money.
And timing. And also, you have all these prop choppers that had to crash in the scene, too.
Yeah, I know. Plus, also there was reports that the fake blood they used got really smelly for some of the actors. So some of the scenes, like when Pilot Snake Shit gets out of his chopper and throws up, I think he was actually pretty sick to his stomach for real from the smell, from the looks.
Fake blood is basically made...
It's actually pretty much real blood, but it's, in a way, but it can get extremely smelly. So I think, when he does the fake vomiting scene, I think he actually was kind of sick to his stomach. So so a lot of that stuff, is just going to really upset your stomach. So that would definitely cause some slowdowns as well.
Uh-huh. Anyway.
So I think mine would win that little debate because they had very few problems.
Yeah, it still worked out, and the movie Platoon was a box office hit.
So was We Were Soldiers.
Although Platoon made bigger on Rotten Tomatoes than yours.
Technically, I don't go with Rotten Tomato critics because it's their job to hate everything, practically.
They don't hate everything.
Well, hey, they hated a lot of things, but it's more of the fans that are the ones that should be the ones that do the critics business, like us.
Yeah, but all in all, I still say Platoon outdoes your We Were Soldiers because it was the first real movie to capture the realism of Vietnam.
Well, mine would win because it doesn't only capture the realism of Vietnam, it also captures the faith of the soldiers of who they fight for and what is their belief in God and what kind of God they believe in.
Not all of them were about that.
I know, but Hal Moore was Catholic and stuff, including one of his lieutenants. And also, you can see that the Vietnamese general who's in charge of the guys at that base, he prays to his, his belief in other things and says he's thankful and everything and shows his beliefs as well.
And also, in that movie,
we also get the family values of how both sides actually show that they...
What's going on back in the States.
And also, one of the soldiers that Hal Moore killed, he had a picture of his wife in the movie, and Hal Moore sent that off to his wife, saying that her husband had died in combat.
I know, but also Platoon deals a little bit with the family issues. Taylor writes to his grandmother, and some of these other soldiers speak of the things they hope to return to at home too. Even though we don't see what's going on in the States, but we know what's going on there. The flag burnings, Martin Luther King's death. And there are guys who are the racist type, the drinking type, the smoker types, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, mine actually does show what goes on outside of the war zone. So that's why mine wins in this part. Because it's going to really let you know what was going on. So, other than just hearing it, I prefer to see it as well.
I don't mind hearing about it because we know it's really going on there because we would read letters and other things. And mine does show a good brotherhood on both sides of the platoon. Those who are on Barnes' side and those who are on Elias' side. Each one's a different brotherhood.
Yeah, but those guys are pretty much at each other's throats on separate sides.
Because the war is turning them into something they shouldn't be. That's what war can do. It brings out the worst in
it
people.
brings out the worst in some people, but it can also bring out the best. And that's what I'd rather see in movies than see the worst. That's why I don't like the movie Casualties of War or Platoon or other movies.
But you sort of had a better respect for Casualties of War.
I had a little bit more respect for that film, and that's why, even though I still don't like it, I'll watch it at least. Because that has a good ending at the end. And stuff, in my...
Yeah, but one more thing we're going to talk about, the music. The music was done really well, mostly done with a lot of violin, stringed instruments, and a few slight horns. Mostly string instruments. And it also had that famous song, which I cannot remember, but I hear it a lot. People say I'm the life of the party, so take a good look. I don't even know what that song is, but it's a very great one. They used the song in the trailer and in the actual dope scene.
Okay, so if any of you people actually know what that song is, please leave that in the comment section for us to find out. So anyway, the music in mine, it has beautiful music from the winds, to the violins and other things, to the strings, to the concussion. It is just so well played out that you cannot help but actually cry at a few scenes when it just hits the music during the combat and stuff. And also, when you see also when Barry Pepper carries the other soldier to the chopper and he says, "Tell my wife I love her and my baby." That music just breaks me down. And also when it shows Barry Pepper taking photos of everything.
You don't hear any sound effects, just the music playing only.
Well, there's a few sound effects, like small sounds of explosions and other things.
But also Oliver Stone's music that he had his composer do, all that violin with the slight trumpets and everything, when the soldiers have just gotten off the battlefield and are so worn out or seen a severe defeat, they are so disappointed and broken.
Really?
And some is really eerie music, like where they're going into the battlefield or heading on patrol.
Yes, I know. But my music still beats yours, I can tell you that much. That's all I can tell you.
Mine puts you on edge a lot.
Well, mine captivates you with the emotional of loss and despair, but then also brings in hope and strength and power.
But one more thing. Mine has a narrator narrating the whole movie. Charlie Sheen.
It doesn't... So what? The movie We Were Soldiers has that. Barry Pepper's character is the one that narrates it at the beginning and very end.
But mine through lots of the whole movie, stating what's going on, how the men feel, and everything.
You know, you don't really need to have a full movie narration.
Although it doesn't... There's only a couple of scenes where he narrates that really needed to have a narration.
And that's why I like We Were Soldiers better, because they only do it at the very beginning and end. And which is very crucial to the movie's success. Instead of just going through the whole film like Platoon did.
Still, I just say Platoon is the better Vietnam War movie, and it's worth checking out.
Don't listen to him, folks. It's not. I don't want to suggest that you watch such a movie. Go with We Were Soldiers. It is far times better, and it is also viewed by Christians as a very good movie.
That's a lie.
No, Christians like it because it shows the faith and stuff also.
I don't hear anything about that.
I read the critical response online. Some Christian critics actually said it was a very good way to show their devotion to God, of how he was respectable to the Catholic beliefs as, you know, his actor, because Mel Gibson is Catholic.
Yeah, I know that.
Wait, or is he Jewish? I can't remember.
He's Catholic.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
Anyway, as I said, Platoon is way better because it was made in the golden age of movies, of the action movie genre. The 80s.
So anyway, We Were Soldiers is far times better. Just go with my winnings on this idea, okay? I tell you, I win the debate, and people will agree if they put it in the comments. So leave your idea, which is better, in the comments section, folks, please.
Is your thoughts on Platoon better, or is it We Were Soldiers?
You tell us.
And if you want to have any ideas of any other ideas of movies that you want us to debate about, leave it in the comments too.
So this is the Debate Brothers. We are signing off.